Hello, this is ametamartha with a pick a card reading about what is next. I'm recording this on the new moon, which is April 30th, but I will be posting it on a different day. And the intention behind this is, with this new beginning, this new month, what is to come? So you can meditate on which pile you wish to choose. This will be pile number 1, this will be pile number 2, and this will be pile number 3. I'll give you a moment now to think on that before I start. Hello, pile number 1. This is your reading for what is to come. You have the Eight of Cups or elixirs in this deck. This is the Antique Anatomy deck. You also have the King of Rods, which is the King of Wands. You have the Fool and the Ten of Blades, which would be the Ten of Swords, the Five of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. I will get to these cards later. Starting out, we have with the Eight of Elixirs. This card is about moving forward. And with it in reverse right now, there is a bit of stillness in your forward trajectory. On these cards, we have the Let Go potion, Despair, Aura Cleanse, Wake Up potion, the Void, and the Soul Journey. So what I'm getting from this being in reverse, we have these flowers here amongst these different different elixirs as well. And as you're in this time of stillness, it is being asked of you to allow yourself the patience it takes to blossom. And, in our soul journey, sometimes we are having to enter the void of despair so that we can process those things, so that we can let them go and wake up to a new beginning that does offer us cleansing. So just taking our time to be present with the stagnance and viewing it as a necessity to refine what we really have before us, or what you have going on before you, and the things that unfold in that time that feels a little bit on pause, in order for you to really make sure that the sprout of what is to come is nurtured, so that you can really access these deeper crevices within yourself, so that going forward you do not bring that baggage with you. You can heal these things that cause blockages and obstacles in the path ahead, and then be better prepared. You're in a better state, a more cleansed and sound perspective as you do start to move on, because also you do have the power of the King of Wands, who is someone who can access their connectivity to their spirit and their intuitive nature, someone who knows how to really look at life through the perspective of a creator. And you have sunflowers here on this card, and even though this being is dead, in that death, in the cycles of rebirth, you can blossom in the dark, since that is an aspect of a sunflower. Then also here with the Fool in reverse, it's asking you to, before you put your foot, before, like, start taking those steps on that path, you must release the not so much irrational nature, but the what is the word I'm looking for? The impulse to do things specific ways. So maybe before you can access or embody the character of the Fool, which is someone who goes forth on that path with just the blissful understanding that what is to come could be unknown, but it's still something to put your trust and faith in. If you release the tendency to make irrational decisions based off of these negative attributes of the elixirs, you can get a better perspective, like the King of Rods has, to choose which elixir you even want to drink from. What energy do you want to put out in your life? So allowing yourself to take that time so that you can maintain a better perspective when things do come up, since your 10 of Blades is also in reverse. This is asking you to release things that cause you pain, cause you just like a deadening of your spirit and your will to be joyful. And we also have blackberries or blackberry blooms on this card, and blackberries are a sign that the winter is over. They will bloom when it's not going to go below freezing again. So knowing that as you move forward, you do not have to really worry or put your focus on having anxieties regarding the things that have caused you pain in the past surfacing through the new cycle, because you actually put the work in to uproot weeds and to put in things that nourish your idealism for what you want in the future. And by doing that, you're going to replace conflict and stress with prosperity, balance, and harmony, and just a renewed perspective of what you have to offer the world. So let's get some clarification cards. Regarding the 10 of Blades. In the past energy, what has caused these wounds? We have the Wheel of Fortune and the 6 of Blades, both in reverse. So, or no, the Wheel of Fortune is upright, sorry. The 6 of Blades is a card about the sneaky things that can come up in life and kind of blindside us with the reality. So to go forth thinking of every single experience we have as an opportunity to reach for something new, you can put away these negative diminishing beliefs that what comes to you is something to resist. When we are in a state of resistance, we diminish the opportunity for better things to come out of the darkness or out of the uncomfortable. It's kind of like using fertilizer for the nourishment of the ground. It stinks. Its source is gross. Literal poop. Who wants to engage in that? But what it does for the plants is so beneficial. So who wants to really bleed themselves of all of their past negative pain and allow it to be released so that the perspective can be gained that it was necessary until after you've actually done the work. You know, you can't see how that fertilizer will affect your plants until you put your hands in it and actually use it in your garden. So with this 5 of Wands and 9 of Swords, what has caused that in the past? Okay. Anything else? Okay. We have the Page of Coins in reverse, the 9 of Elixirs in reverse, the Ace of Elixirs, the 5 of Elixirs in reverse, and the 2 of Coins. So in the past, you have not seen these conflicts and stressors as opportunity, and doing so diminished that opportunity. Like I said, here these elixirs are a wish tonic, bliss brew, love potion, joy elixir, and then number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, and number 9. So resisting a that forward motion of these numbers, you know, climbing, you also bypass these positive elixirs that you could have used amongst the negative. So not taking everything as something to be grateful for puts us in a perspective of lack, and that lack being released and that resistance being accepted offers this number 1, you know, this new beginning with the Ace of Elixirs. And look, it's a love potion. So learning how to access unconditional love for the life experience, because if it's unconditional, you will learn how to appreciate having lower times, because it also emphasizes the feel good higher times. But with this 8 of Elixirs or 5 of Elixirs in reverse, that also goes with that. The traditional imagery on this card is someone who sees 2 cups or 3 cups being spilled, and their back is to 2 cups that they still have upright. And we have here morphine and Gaiadine. I don't know what Gaiadine is. But then we also have a passion tonic here. And the other 2 tonics are being hidden by the plant as well. So sometimes with like this Fool, sometimes we can't see every aspect of the picture, but what are you going to choose? You know, you can choose. I'm going to look up what Gaiadine is. Or, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't know. But are we going to choose the morphine to block out the pain and numb ourselves of it so that we don't have to deal with it right now, but it'll consistently come back until we do? And are we going to... Oh, okay, that's not a G. That's a C. Cyadine? I don't know. It's highly toxic. What is it for? It's used to make paper, textiles, and plastic, and develop photographs. It's for cleaning. It's known as the suicide pill. Achieve death quickly through suicide. So dang, what are we going to choose? To numb ourselves up, to give up completely, or to ignite our passion and connect to something, some drive to persevere and kind of wait for the things that we do not see to unveil themselves for us as we continue to blossom, or you. Because then also with the Two of Coins, I think the way that you get out of this is to continuously balance those things. We have the purple and yellow flowers, and it's both the heart. So what function do you want to choose? Either way, with the yellow flowers, the solar plexus chakra has to do with your identity, and the identity is a lot of the time found in aspects of ego. And then you have the purple flowers, which is affiliated with the third eye chakra, which is more of like an intuitive, and that's the awakening of something more than the third dimensional physical experience. So to find balance, no matter what position you're in, whether it's negative or positive, comfortable or just uncomfortable, you can choose to connect to something outside of yourself that will help you to persevere through those things, and that connects you to that unconditional love that I mentioned. So I'm going to move forward with your affirmation cards. The presence of love will always cast out fear. So that goes back to this love potion. If you access just the vibration of love in your life, what makes you feel ignited, what makes you feel like life is worth living, then in those times where you're feeling like I'm about ready to take some morphine or just go ahead and off myself from this experience, you can access those reserves of love and allow that to upright this page of coins and let it manifest a new perspective in your life to where you start seeing things differently, because that love has casted out the perceptions of fear, which also goes hand in hand with these two hearts that are in conflict. Because when we live in fear, that is putting out the vibration of I am not safe, I must rely on myself to keep myself safe. It's a bit of a breach between you and your connection to divinity that's within you. But if you surrender into this presence of love, then you can further open this third eye chakra and start to see the more cryptic experience that we can have in life that solidifies that something outside of yourself is there divinely protecting you all the time. Then we also have a dragonfly here, and it says, I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. And that's exactly the function of the Fool. So to really embody this person you're wanting to become and to see the path unfold before you more effortlessly, you must surrender to something outside of your own understanding of the life that you're experiencing currently. And dragonflies are very transformative. They come out of the water to grow wings, and when they do, they start to hover over that water. So they're still integrating their life with where they came from, but water is often symbolized, or does symbolize, the emotions and the way that we interact with those emotions. You can use water to cleanse yourself through negative times because you're accessing the essence of something that you are physically experiencing in your emotional body. So to surrender in those times and connect to the trust is what offers you a sense of direction when you're in those states of fear. And then that will lead you to love no matter where you are in your life. So also, you have, these are oracle cards from the Ask Your Guides book. I'm not sure if you interact with guides or not. If you don't and you are interested, that book has a lot of insightful elements. But you have boredom with the spirit teachers. So around you right now in your transitional state that you're in, you can access the spirit teachers to help you get through whatever makes you feel a bit wary. And you also have discontent with muses. And now I'm going to read from the book so that I can offer you a little bit of insight on what these are actually trying to say. Boredom, spirit teachers. Life is relatively stable and calm now, and yes, you achieved a certain degree of predictability and comfort on the day-to-day basis. However, something is lacking in a way of fulfillment. Your spirit teachers gather in response to this emptiness. They gently remind you that there's more for your life than you are presently expressing, and are calling on you to remember your soul commitments of purpose and contribution to your fellow human beings. They confirm what you already know in your heart. Focus on your interests alone will not fill your void. Trust these beautiful guides as they lovingly urge you to open your heart and share your time and gifts with others. They wisely counsel you that the restless emptiness and boredom that you feel isn't the result of something missing from your life or something you've yet to attain, but rather is a reaction to an unexpressed talent, creativity, and love in your heart, things your soul longs to give. Your spirit teachers invite you to take advantage of your present peace and certainty and use your good fortune to involve yourself with those who are still struggling. For example, take a friend to lunch, help an elderly neighbor, volunteer at a literacy support organization, or spend more time with lonely relatives. Your spirit teacher's message is give more and your emptiness will subside. So that kind of goes back to that eight of elixirs. When you're in the time of stagnance and stillness, you can invest in something that makes you feel connected to something outside of your sense of self, and that will cause more movement and flow of energy to come into your life. Now, discontent with muses. Sooner or later in our evolutionary process, each of us begins to realize that it's not the having that fulfills the soul, but rather the act of creating that brings us satisfaction. Contentment in what we've created, no matter how grand, inevitably subsides, and our creative juices once again long to flow. That's why once ideal partners cease to mesmerize, the perfect job eventually becomes mundane, and the great adventure becomes tedious. Although there's a lot to be said for enjoying what we have now, we must nevertheless respect the fact that our basic nature as creative beings is to create. Without the process, we cannot be fully content, at least not for long. Your muses are present, and they call to you now to embrace your creative discontent and undertake new projects. Their message is: see your frustration as longing to learn more, expand more, dare more, and create more. So the main takeaway from this reading is really to just trust the process and do what feels true to you, and to take the time to learn a little bit more about yourself before you set off on this new journey, because what is to come is really just a reflection of the growth that you are attaining right now. You'll change your perspective in life. You'll see that you'll open up new doors for yourself to just view life and everything it has to offer as opportunity. So what is next is less of a physical coming, but a upheaval of old and stale mindsets and views, so that you can begin to see life from a new perspective. That's all I have for you, pile number 1. I hope that this resonated and made you feel encouraged and guided. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you again next time. Thank you. Hello, this is the reading for pile number 2 for what is next to come. The decks I'm using in this reading is the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. You have Temperance in reverse, the Nine of Swords upright, the Emperor in reverse, and the Lovers upright. You have with the Rider-Waite deck, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. I'm going to put these aside for now, and we'll return to them in a moment. So what it looks as for what it seems to me is that right now, or in the recent past, you have been experiencing a lack of peace in your life. With this being in reverse, here is it upright. This person has so much balance, and traditionally the Temperance being is pouring water into water and has water around them, 1 foot in it and 1 foot off of it. But this Temperance being has walked a long journey and obviously kept the water with them the entire time, and has learned on their path how to balance the way that they process things, or this adventure or journey itself. Like they've acquired the perception of just the past. They are not resisting this long path that they're on, even though they know it will take a long time. They have the courage of the lion with them, and the connectedness of themselves and the spirit world through this bird here behind them. Their crown is open and ready to receive, and they've come a long way, yet they still are able to just sit and take a break and balance that cup on their foot like that, and just know that there is a balance to it. There's a time to get up and walk, and there's a time to sit on a rock for a moment and just take a bit of a sit still. But with this being in reverse, I think in the past you've resisted the fact that there are so many steps ahead of you, and that you have had to put so much work in to pull all of these different knives from your back. Or also you could think that because you've been hurt before, that every new opportunity that is around you is inevitably going to stab you next. This actually seems more of like a mental mindset of expectation, to think like oh, I have so much longer to go and this is just going to hurt me anyway. But if you switch your perspective to surrender control with your Emperor being in reverse, if you, this ram is dead, obviously, right? He's wearing it as its skull on his head. And he's got a baby goat sitting in his lap. And as you release the control to shield yourself from whatever danger took the life of the ram, and you give up all of that control and stop trying to protect yourself, but live with the understanding that even the pain is necessary, valid, and beneficial, and you start to look at life and the way that the universe interacts with you as opportunities to embrace and express love, you won't have to worry about getting hurt or protecting yourself, because you'll know that no matter what happens, you can rely on yourself, you can love yourself, and you can be for yourself. And that connectivity will also connect you to something outside of yourself that also loves you unconditionally. And as you do that, so much is going to just explode and open for you very quickly, because you have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, which in those suits, these two are rapid, fast-paced messengers and gift bearers of new opportunity and new advancement in the field of your spirit and intuition and connectedness to this source of divinity outside of you, but also your self-expression and creativity. So just allowing yourself to release fear will also bring massive amounts of abundance into your life with this 10 of Pentacles here. This is allowing yourself to see everything that life has to offer and seeing even the negative experience as abundance, because there is something to find in everything. And when you do, you set off on the new journey. It's like, imagine this is the opportunity, if you just decide to engage with your own sense of resilience, put on your armor of trust in the universe, and allowing this to take you into a new position. But also, this being is something, the thing I'm referencing that's outside of yourself. This is a messenger of divinity who is sending a guide to you to let you experience the unconditional love of the universe, hands you this wand as a like a rite of passage, so to speak. And then you take that baton and you go on your own journey, wearing your own garment from what you've learned, knowing that you have a new perspective with this white hat. You are grounding that negative, fear-based self-doubt with the red feather, connecting yourself to the higher forces, seeing as the feather is also from a bird, which then again we had this one here. And you're looking at what you've learned from the experience as you set out into the unknown here with the desert. So let's get some clarification cards on this Temperance reverse and the Nine of Swords, please. What has been holding pile number 2 back? What causes the fear? We have the 2 of Cups. Interesting. I reckon... Okay. Let's see what this one is, if it verifies what I was going to say. the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. You have the Two of Cups and the Three of Cups. Those are both very people and connection oriented cards. Look at them. This is about balancing give and take with the people and relationships in your life. And this is just like a pour and saturation of all of the positive feelings that can come when you engage in that. But then also you have the Three of Cups, which is like celebration and collaboration and just having unity in your relationships and being able to really enjoy those people around you, and just like allowing that give and take to offer a flow of just like that filling of your cup. You have that deep sense of connection with the people in your life. But then you have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. To get to this is scary. To allow people in like this and to take that little leap of faith and having trust in those who are around you, that they aren't going to cause you pain and problems, puts you in a position where you don't actually want to try to get up from this position and climb. Look, it's almost shaped like a question mark, but the point would be at the top of the head, which is like that uncertainty and self-doubt. Like, what if I continue forward and these relationships make them deeper and then they hurt me? So the fear that you have that is causing this breach of enlightenment and just a shift in your entire reality is the fear of people and rejection. So how can pile number 2 compete with that other than having faith and connection to love? Anything specific they can do? Okay. We have the Ten of Swords, the Fool, the Knight, and the Prince of Pentacles. Yeah, this is a massive radical shift of perspective. You need to let go of the pain that you've experienced in the past and the fear that you're projecting that it's going to reoccur, because the fact that you're even projecting it at all is what causes its reoccurrence. You know, that I don't want it, thus, you know, you attract it. What you fear shall come upon you and whatnot. This is a call for you to change your perspective. Yes, you may have been hurt in the past and you have reason and evidence to why you should not continue to put your faith and trust into people blindly. But from this past pain, allowing yourself to integrate it and heal it and embrace it and accept it for what it was and look for the positive message coming from it, you can gain the perspective from like an outer body, more objective place, and, you know, just try to move forward as the Fool would, who is somebody who doesn't have to have the assurance of what's going to happen next. They know they're divinely protected and that they don't have to put all of their faith in themselves, because they will see what is for them no matter what the outcome of the circumstance is. And they have that blind faith that if they take that step, they are not going to fall to their death. They're going to be led somewhere new. And with the Knight, this is an extra card in this deck. Allowing yourself to learn something while you are in the darker times. Allowing yourself to embrace this version of you down here who creates the water, who is kind of in a position where they might feel like they're drowning. Allowing yourself to be there, but also at the same time connecting yourself to gratitude with this full moon here and this other being who seems separate from this one, looking at the view and enjoying the night sky. So yes, the nighttime can offer shadows and uncertainty and, you know, just the things that trigger those fears in general, but you can also try to find things to be grateful for when you are in a less positive state of mind, and help yourself to shift in that perspective. or from that perspective to the other. And when you do that, you're going to start taking baby steps. See, it finishes with another page. So this is you really starting to grow up in this new version of yourself. So if you just lay down those blockages and allow yourself to really just move past them and let those negative emotions and fears flow through you with your acceptance and embrace, then you will start to realize that the opportunities that are coming into your physical life to exercise new beliefs will solidify why you should believe something new. And with this being a child, I think this is like taking baby steps to make a physical effort to compete with the things that tell you you shouldn't keep moving forward. Kind of like your strength is asleep. Imagine this bowl is this child's transportation. And yeah, in the times where you feel weak, you can take a break and you can put a rest, and then you can look up from this perspective and see what there is to find in that before you can connect with your strength and keep going. So these are some quote cards for positive affirmation. It says, my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. Dang. And we also have a waning crescent here at the top, which is releasing things. So there's that. And we also have the universe works fast when I'm having fun. Okay. It really just solidifies itself. I said these people here are having a good time. And with this access to love, you allowing people to love you and look at yourself as somebody who is deserving of love, it brings forth movement fast. My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. Imagine these people in your life now being sent to you by something outside of yourself, knowing that you needed to experience what real love feels like, and then you reject it because you're scared of embracing that love, because what if I get hurt again? And then you rob yourself of the fun you could be having. And if you just choose to embrace this opportunity to be loved and love back, the universe will start to work fast in your life to help you heal those wounds that you have from your past. So these are oracle cards from the Ask Your Guides book. If you do not engage with personal guidance systems that are outside of you, you like talking to spirits and stuff, and you do have that interest, that book is very good. I put the link in the description box below. But right now, these cards came out for guides that you can ask for help from as you're trying to go through this process. We have despair with the nature spirits and rest with the Holy Spirit. Okay, I'm going to read from the book to give you a little bit more clarity on the meanings of these. Okay, despair with nature spirits. Whether you call it a bad mood, a bad day, or even a bad life, a feeling of complete desolation and despair has you in its grip. All seems bleak. This isn't to suggest that your feelings of hopelessness are without cause. Genuinely difficult situations may be causing true anxiety, but it's more likely that your fears are exaggerating the way or things way out of proportion. Fortunately, your nature spirits are on hand, luring you out of your inner despair and rerouting your attention back to nature. They urge you to stop dwelling on the problems for the time being and go outside. Breathe the air, smell the grass, take a walk, notice the wind, come back to earth and back to the moment, back to the beauty and the bounty of the Divine Mother. If you're feeling trapped in an emotional maze of fear and drama, your only way back to balance and clarity is to get grounded in the moment and return to the natural world. Let your nature spirits lead you to the Mother Earth, as she will calm and comfort your soul. The message for you is, go back to nature. Well, these things really just confirm themselves for me, don't they? We have rest with the Holy Spirit. Our culturally perceived notion that doing is the correct use of time, and that doing nothing is a complete waste of time, has indeed made us a sick society. Your overwhelming desire to back off from this whirlwind of activity and take a break, even throw in the towel altogether, isn't crazy or unrealistic. It's a direct summons from the Holy Spirit to withdraw your attention from the outer world and reconnect with your soul. Your life is not to be flittered away in meaningless and unexplained activity. You came with a purpose and specific soul intentions that are being neglected. They are now knocking at the door for your attention, reminding you that you have commitments to keep. If you do not heed this call and begin to self-examine, you may even enter a dark night of the soul, a time where nothing feels meaningful. Listen to the Holy Spirit and open your heart to its direction. Take lots of time to be alone and get in touch with your soul. Write in a journal, seek counseling, and pray. Allow yourself to be in direct contact with the guiding wisdom of the Holy Spirit on a daily basis. Withdraw from the world, whether through contemplation, meditation, or even a sabbatical, is the most powerful way for you to use your time right now. The Holy Spirit is guiding you in your quiet moments, and its message is time to take care of yourself. Okay, so moving on to what is next. If you allow yourself to process what you have right now before you and just do everything that you can in your power to validate your entire experience, what you have coming to you is a lot of happiness and a lot of fun and grace and just fast-paced healing. And for you to access these things will be of great benefit. You know, each person will have an individual outcome of what that looks like, but for you to access these things, you must first access the things that keep you from them and allow yourself to heal and process that before you can even start moving forward, or else it's just going to be a repeat of those same negative outcomes that you're trying to avoid. So that's my reading for you, pile number 2. I hope that you found some sense of comfort and encouragement in that, and that it resonates. And I hope to see you again. Thank you. Hello, this will be the reading for what is next if you chose pile number 3. This pile actually has an extra card that came out, and these are the main ones I'm using is from the Orien Animal Tarot. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, the Moon in reverse. Why are these all in reverse? The Ace of Swords, and the King of Pentacles, both upright. You also have the High Priestess, the Lovers, Judgment in reverse, and the Seven of Wands in reverse. So to access what is next, we have to first take into consideration what has been. And with the Knight of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Moon all in reverse, that shows to me that there is just a perception that opportunity is not really something that is perceived as on the table or being on the table. Here we have, this dolphin, it's almost an illusion here. Dolphins are very playful and intelligent creatures, but this one looks like it's being impaled by this trident, yet it is not actually being impaled by the trident. It actually is holding the trident. So it really just depends on your perspective of your situation. So say something uncomfortable is an opportunity for you to grow and, expand. And the perception is, I have this trident in my arm, I'm wounded, I cannot swim, I cannot keep going. How am I going to do all the fun things that are true to my playful nature? How am I going to move on from this specific scenario? Meanwhile, that is a less intelligent way to perceive things. And I'm not saying like dumb, just to view things or situations that come up in a mindset of resistance and avoidance of pain takes this power out of your hands and makes an illusion of a wound. And if you can just shift your perspective into believing that this is an opportunity for you to take life into your own hands and create something new out of it with the power that you have access to, then you can also create from that perspective of intelligence and still continue to play as you create. I mean, that's almost, it gave me like a vision of like children playing doctor or, pretending to be adults. Living your life as an adult, but pretending or like enjoying yourself because you know that you're like creating the scenarios anyway. So when it seems negative, you can remember, I'm creating and solidifying this reality in my mind right now. How can I take the essence of this uncomfortable situation I'm in and change it for the better so that I can create a new reality from what I have before me? And that does open up your eyes to the possibility that is there. And you also have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, and this is a cricket on what appears to be a lily. Lilies are a lot about resurrection, and crickets, they are out at night, and I want to see what a cricket means specifically, but I was thinking with this being paired with the moon here, learning how to use the darker times to your advantage. But also, like I said, with the lily, just allowing yourself to be renewed in these times also. Success, personal realization, and to heighten your intuition and perspective. That is cool because also that is what the moon is about. So the cricket here in this Page of Pentacles goes really hand in hand with the moon here. And, a rabbit is about prosperity and abundance and being quick on your feet. So for you to go through the darker times in your life and allow it to offer you perspectives coming from like a download of intuition, then you can really combine these two cards that are in reverse with this and change your perspective entirely to where you are comfortable in the darker times, because you know you're going to learn something new from it. You know you have anticipation to call out like this cricket to your sense of connectedness to the universe and allow that to renew you in spirit as you are physically manifesting your life experience through this pentacle. And that's going to help you to develop, since this is the page. And then also with the moon card, we have a waning crescent. Let me look. I get them so confused. Yeah, okay. We have a waning crescent, which means you need to release and just surrender. And then look, from this waning crescent, we have another waning crescent that this rabbit is just like running on, allowing like an unfoldment to happen through your choice to move forward with that connectivity to intuition and trust and faith as you go through the darker times. Now, doing that, allowing yourself to release this false reality and false narrative that there is something in life that is mundane or a little just that brings you less peace and happiness in the present moment. Releasing that and finding something to connect to will offer you the elegance of this Ace of Swords. And then also this is a you can hardly see it, but it's a new moon, which is what we are on right now, which is about new beginnings, and so is the Ace. So with it being of Swords, it really has everything to do with you being able to change that perspective, since the swords have to do with the mind. And so it's just like your thoughts are seeds, and your thoughts are things that manifest in your life. So if you choose to feed a thought that is not offering you nutrients, you're going to feel weak. And swans are incredibly strong and intimidating and forthright, and they protect their area. They don't want any intrusion. So if you can become the embodiment of the swan and help yourself to siphon through intrusive negative thoughts that create new negative patterns and or establishments of old patterns just being replayed over and over, you can shift your perspective completely, which gives you the power to hold this in your hand, which gives you the opportunity to see the night and the darkness being something that you can use to your advantage, and then that will help you to establish new perspectives of prosperity instead of fear or lack. And then you can go forth as the King of Pentacles. So that is like a pretty intense shift from the page being the previous energy to the King. It's like a rapid growth. You don't have to go through so many different layers of learning, because this is the only blockage. This perception that you can't do it is making your energy small and subtle like a cricket. Meanwhile, who you really are is this bull, and you can run in hot and fierce and dangerous, metaphorically speaking, dangerous to the previous way of thinking. You can come in and completely rewire those things and establish a whole new kingdom for yourself to rule, and it all starts in the mind field. And by doing this, you're gonna learn how to navigate through life, because the High Priestess is a very intuitive and very connected being who knows that as they go through the cycles, they are going to acquire new knowledge that they can put into practice in their life. And that experience is what they are grateful for, because they know the legitimacy of their wisdom based on it. And you also have another waning crescent here. So just releasing all that doesn't serve you so that you can continue to balance the light and the dark and take notes. And when you do that, you're going to open up love into your life. This is not only just a person, this is the love within the self, and it starts there. So if you can learn how to unconditionally love your foundations of a new perspective in life, if you can just learn how to love life in general, that begins to reflect on the way that you love yourself, and you start to feel more connected with your surroundings and the people around you as well. And then you also have Judgment and the Seven of Wands in reverse. So this kind of tells me a little bit like this is kind of an option. You can either continue living the way that you have been and let these past programmings dictate the way that you see things, and then you'll resist a renewal, like again with this lily, and you live life with a layer of judgment on it instead of being resurrected from that dead way of thinking and offering yourself new layers of upgraded perspective to be opened up to you over and over again as you continue to process through negative experiences. Like they go hand in hand. You can't be happy without being sad, and you can't expect something bad to happen all the time either, though. So you can, but it'll rob you of that happiness. So to choose not to move forward in this is to choose to continue over and over again. But if you do engage in it, you will open up yourself to a lot of happiness. And maybe you don't have to judge yourself so harshly or judge the situation so harshly, and you can just let yourself be at peace and just integrate into the moment by surrendering to it. Because also here with the Seven of Wands being in reverse, you don't have to look at yourself being up against everything. It's not like that. It's you on the high ground, way expansive, way larger. You can look at it as somebody who's in a bad spot, who's being attacked at all directions, or you could look at it as a giant on a tiny, or making this mountain look tiny. And you can take all of the opportunities that are before you. Like, what if these are just options and he picked one up and he's not even fighting anything? Or what if he's sparring to gain practice? It's all about perspective. So I'm going to grab some clarifiers on what is the obstacle that causes the negative limiting belief. The Nine of Swords, okay. The Nine of Swords and the Magician. So the Magician card is about being able to dictate your own reality, really, because you know that you're the one creating it. And here, being behind the Knight of Swords, it's like you rob yourself of the power that you have to create a positive experience when you engage in the negative. The traditional deck or depiction of this card is someone sitting up in bed with a bunch of swords at their back, and their hands or their head is in their hands. They are stressed, overloaded, can't take it anymore. And this Nine of Swords has a centipede wrapped around it. And centipedes can be toxic. So what if those thoughts that keep you up at night are actually just programming the subconscious mind as you sleep to anticipate a negative experience, and then because you're so powerful, that's what you experience with the Magician here. How does pile number 3 really overcome these negative beliefs outside of what's already on the table? Thank you. The Two of Swords. You have to find balance. You need to remember the duality in life and not fight yourself and not fight the circumstances that you're in. Just learning how to surrender and find rest and peace and trust in the process of every moment by grounding into it. The this is a beta fish. Beta fish often fight. Oh, this is a Two of Swords, not the Two of Cups. Sorry, what I was saying before is the Two of Cups translation. The Two of Swords is about making a decision. So you can also take what I had already said into consideration, seeing as I said it, but also making the choice to just see things that way. And with a beta fish, like I was going to say, they fight. They will generally live a solitary life in a puddle in the rainforest, and they will jump from puddle to puddle. And if there is another fish in their puddle, they will fight it to the death. And it's like, that's that resistance that you're experiencing. And you don't have to live a life of solitude and loneliness and like fear to have experiences, because there might be something negative that could come into play at some point. You can continue to go on knowing that you don't have to fight all the time. You could actually just really succumb to what is going on and just connect to something outside of yourself, even just the present moment, and realize that nothing is really happening if I dial myself back enough to where I'm just consciousness. And when you can do that and go into a little bit of a meditative state to engage with the present moment, you can realize all I am is just something witnessing something else, and you can feel a lot better. So you have, these are some cards with just some positive affirmations on it. You have joy is the ultimate creator. So allowing yourself to just access abundance of, like the abundance of joy, and seeing opportunities in the uncomfortable, like I've said. And then the next is, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Oh my goodness, these cards get me. Everything talks about itself, in and of itself, over and over again. I don't even have to say words. Like, it says it for me and confirms it for me. And, you know, like I said, if you can go to bed thinking of what you have to worry about, you can also choose to go to bed letting that automatic and intrusive thought pattern to remind you to be grateful. What do I have in my life going for me right now? What are some things that I can appreciate? And then allow that to reprogram the subconscious as you sleep, and then see how those shifts in your attitude will shift your perspective when you wake up and start interacting in your life in the next morning. Okay, so these are oracle cards from the Ask Your Guides book. If you do not interact with guidance systems outside of yourself, invisible beings, spirits, yada yada, but have an interest in it, I would highly recommend this book. I leave a link to it in the description box. And this is just oracle cards that are giving you a bit of a guideline on who or what beings are around you right now that you can interact with and ask for help to make these shifts. So we have psychic awareness with the divine soul. And seeing as you have a lot of manifestation energy in your reading, I would say that you are a very powerful psychic person. And maybe you don't even have that awareness that you are. Thus, that's the reason for this reality being solidified by the belief. You know, it's that you are seeing what your brain is already predestining through your beliefs, because you do have that psychic awareness that maybe you aren't tapping the full potential of. And then also you have new beginnings with the Divine Father. I'm going to read from the guidebook to give you a little bit more clarity on what these mean. Okay, psychic awareness with the divine soul. Your divine soul is awakening, and with it, your psychic abilities are coming alive. More involved and specific than basic intuition, your psychic faculties are giving you access to fourth dimensions or to the fourth dimension. Also, there's an owl outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is hooting, and that is definitely a messenger of wisdom from the universe. So go with your gut, and when you know, and allow yourself to connect to that fourth dimension. You are coming into contact with discarnate, enlightened helper. Oh, okay. I guess like beings that are not incarnate. Enlightened helpers who can assist and guide you in beautiful ways. You may start accessing divine music or tap into the new healing energies. You also may receive telepathic messages and have clairvoyant visions. Heed your newly aroused psychic faculties and don't doubt the specific and profound transmissions flowing to you. Record your dreams, believe in your hunches, and accept the symbols and signals being relayed to you from the psychic realm. Trust your vibes and embrace your psychic channels fully. What you're communicating is essential to fulfilling your purpose. Ask your divine soul to lead you. Its message is embrace and trust what you receive. So I think, like I said, perspectives. There might be some layers of fear around the prompts that you're feeling in your life, and you're realizing that maybe these are opportunities I need to take. And if you are experiencing a psychic awakening from experience, the Ask Your Guides book was a good one of helping you learn how to differentiate different voices that are like psychic ability is really just an ability to listen to beings who are prompting you around you and learning how to speak that language of the universe. But Sonia Choquette, who wrote this book, also has Your Psychic Pathway, another book that is pretty good. It really simplifies the view of what being psychic is that's been so diluted by, the like television and stuff. Anyway, so new beginnings with the Divine Father. The spark of life from your Divine Father is igniting your imagination, stirring your creative genius, and instilling in you a strong desire to bring about change. Now is a perfect time for you to act upon your impulses and initiate new beginnings, especially in those areas of your life that leave you presently dissatisfied. Trust your desire for change and ask the Divine Father to give you the courage to initiate it. Commit to your unique new ideas, and the Divine Father will encourage you to act in confidence. All of the elements for your success are in place. Don't hesitate, don't think, don't play it safe. Take a leap of faith and commit fully to what you really want. And your Divine Father's message to you is just go for it. You cannot fail. So moving forward, what is next for you? If you can pass through these limiting beliefs and just allow them to be dismantled, then the new beginning that you have is a whole new awakening to the way that you function in the world. You can start to see the world differently. You start to receive psychic downloads and a full connectivity to something greater than what the third dimensional reality has to offer you. And if you are feeling prompted to dive into the unknown of clairvoyance or clairaudience or clair anything, I recommend it. It's a slow process to learn how to trust yourself and trust your guidance, and because we are instilled, or it is instilled in us, to not believe in ourselves from childhood and not trust ourselves because of like societal acceptance and things of that nature. But something I practiced when I first started to experience psychic awakening is what I call radical obedience. And if you have a feeling, then just go with it. You don't have to know the outcome, because the outcome will prove its prompting as accurate to you. And if you do it more and more and more, even with the little things, like, hey, put your coffee cup down and then pick it up differently, then you might not spill it. And sometimes I've noticed that when I don't listen to those, even like the little mundane things, is when I have like a retrospective, But radical obedience in every single facet of the practice, all of the things from doing something way out of your comfort zone to, like I said, doing something pretty mundane and that seems pointless. Just learn how to listen, and you'll learn also your own specific language of the way that you and the universe communicate, and just continue to follow those things. And you can ask for specific things, very, very specific things, and just forget about it and wait and know, like, don't wait idly, but know that it's going to happen, but like, don't put pressure on it. And then it happens and it surprises you, and it really blows you away and solidifies that trust that you can have in something that you can't see. And you can really remove your own sense of personal responsibility for so many different aspects of your life, because you surrender everything to the universe. And, to practice radical obedience, something I do is I have a yes-no spin wheel on my phone, and my pendulum, I'll ask it questions all the time. Hey, is this thought I'm having spiritually guided? Yes or no? Or, hey, I had this thought. Should I act on this thought? Yes or no? Whatever. Either way, what is coming for you, pile number 3? A level up in your spiritual experience. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Makes life so much easier. It's very difficult to be really open and honest with yourself about the past programmings and how to rewire them. And to do it, it's a hard application, but to just do it really does change your life drastically, and your whole interaction with the way that the world is around you. It really just puts so much into perspective, and it changes your perspective permanently. And I just really encourage you to start this new beginning. I mean, what's next? And you've got the new beginning card on the new moon. I really think that you have a lot of accessible power to gain at this period in your life, and I hope that you get everything that you want. I hope this also resonated and that it made sense to you. And if you like what you watched, please continue to come back. And I hope to see you again. Thank you.